think there's a tactical / legal issue going on here, and then there's a cultural one, which at the FBI, which Mike alluded to. From the first one, I think the FBI would much rather fight this out in court and create a precedent that would be favorable to law enforcement. The courts are going to be more favorable to law enforcement and more deferential than I think Congress would be, and I think this is where they want the battle to be fought. There are questions as to whether this is actually the best case for them, the old adage that bad facts make bad law, and there's a debate about that. The cultural point is what Mike alluded to before, which is that the FBI, I covered the FBI for much of my career. Mike is exactly right in this particular case. There is, I'd say almost certainly, no information on this phone that would be really important to sort of cracking the investigation, as if they don't already know. But FBI agents, they've got the profile of a classic investigator. I might add, not that dissimilar to Isikoff, which is they want to know absolutely everything. They want to, turn over every stone. It's just the way they are. It's in their DNA. And I talked to an FBI source last week who was making exactly this point and was skeptical that there would be anything on that phone that would really make a difference. But and for a guy like Comey, I think that at the sort of highest levels of the FBI, they're also torn. I think they do. I think Comey is a guy who probably takes the sort of security privacy, that balance seriously. But he has to defend his institution. You have to defend the building, as they say. And I think he is not in a position, or at least he believes he's not in a position where he can make those arguments. He's got to protect the institution. So I think that is a part of what's going on here.
And if I just want to pick up on two quick points. One is, the FBI would rather fight this battle in court than in Congress because they tend to have a better record of getting their way in court, especially when they present it in the kind of language that they did. And if you go to Congress, then it becomes a political battle, and you're facing two issues. One is the privacy concerns that clearly resonate across the political spectrum.
Absolutely.
Not just liberal Democrats, but conservative Republicans were, among the most outraged. Ted Cruz voted for that USA Freedom Act, which took away the NSA's ability to store your phone records, and then also just the simple dysfunction of Congress, trying to get any law passed today,
let alone anything as complicated as this.
But I should say, by the way, I thought that John Kasich in the last debate did make a very good point, saying where is the president on this? Why, given the significance of this issue and given how polarized people are, why hasn't he brought all the parties to the White House and, as he suggested, lock the door and say, we're going to solve this.
Well,
We've got
he
to
did
come
this,
up with a compromise.
And he did this on the metadata program, on the bulk collection program, where he created a commission, a review group, and brought in civil libertarians and people from law enforcement and people from the intelligence community, and they produced a report, which I read, actually a pretty serious report, which led to the Freedom Act. So it may be that Obama will still do this. And on the kind of political divide and the even within the Republican Party, right after the Apple FBI clash erupted, pretty much all the Republican candidates were asked about it, and it was pretty interesting to see how they responded. I mean, Marco Rubio, I thought it was actually in some ways an impressive answer. I mean, it was quite nuanced, kind of seeing the two sides of the argument and not really coming down on one side or the other. Donald Trump, on the other hand, his answer was bright colors rather than pastels, and he took the side of law enforcement pretty firmly, and actually after that, everyone else did too. They all sort of fell in line, which is interesting.
And he tweeted that we should boycott Apple.
And then he tweeted
on his iPhone.
Yes.